Lately, I've been in full nostalgia mode. The re-release of The Grinch must have triggered it. But between that, Thomas and the Magic Railroad, or my Disney 2000 review, I've just been craving that special era in my life where I was seeing some of the first films I'd ever seen in theaters. My recent SpongeBob movie ranking project was another trigger for this, to where after it I thought, how about taking a look at during that time where Nickelodeon was doing theatrical films for the most popular shows. If you were ages 4 to 7 in the late 90s or early 2000s, it was impossible not to grow up with Nick cartoons. So it was a real event when some of those shows made the leap to the big screen. On a stroll through Walmart about a month and a half ago, I came across a bargain bin $5 DVD all-in-one set of Nickelodeon TV show theatrical films, and thus a new marathon and ranking was unleashed. This ranking is going to focus on theatrical films from the early 2000s. Everything after 2006, whether streaming or theatrical, doesn't really encompass the era I'm trying to focus on here. So no, you won't see Rocco's Modern Life Static Cling or Invader Zim Enter the Florpus. I did watch both of those just for fun and to fully complete my marathon. This ranking of theatrical Nick animated movies will go from worst to best, so sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. Nickelodeon! 2006 was the first year in my lifetime where there was just an influx of 3D animated films coming from seemingly every studio. Nickelodeon got in on that action as well with the film Barnyard. Like another movie to be ranked later here, Barnyard actually started off as a theatrical film and then became a TV show. As a kid, I never watched either because even when I was younger, I thought they looked pretty bad. But for this ranking project, I had to finally watch that 2006 film, which thankfully or unthankfully was featured in that Nickelodeon DVD set that I bought. Never have my eyes been visually raped as much by an animated film as they were here. Visually, this movie just looks f***ing awful. This animation was bad in 2006, and 20 years later you have an absolute visual abomination as far as rendering and character movement. Also, say this description out loud. Kevin James plays a frat boy cow who likes to party and pull pranks. Not a plot that inspires a lot of confidence, and this movie certainly doesn't have the kind of brains or quality to make any of this worth a damn. I will give this movie credit in one regard. The stuff with Sam Elliott's character, the cow dad, seems like it was written for a different movie and is surprisingly effective and mature. But there's not enough of it to save this movie from being a cow turd of a film.
Oh, milk me! We got him! Barnyard. Well, time to go to work.
Nickelodeon! Hey Arnold the movie came out in 2002. I saw it in theaters when it came out, but it took this recent marathon for this ranking project to finally watch the movie again. It sees Arnold and Gerald taking on a business tycoon who is looking to destroy the neighborhood to build a mall. Not even AI would come up with that plot. Hey Arnold was a nice laid-back kind of show, but I don't think that works the best for a movie. Which rewatching this for the first time since its theatrical release, all I could think was, this was in theaters? Are you kidding me? Even if I still like the core characters and seeing them on a bigger than usual adventure, the movie just doesn't have the factor to work as a big screen movie. I would have given the movie more credit had it not chickened out with a major moment of development between Helga and Arnold, which would have made this movie mean something significant in the context of the show.
Think Arnold.
The neighborhood is counting on you. Good luck, boys.
Hey Arnold, the movie.
Not part of this official ranking is Hey Arnold the Jungle Movie. It came out on streaming in 2017, long after the TV series was actually done. I watched it when it came out in 2017, but like the first film, it took this ranking project to finally rewatch the movie again. It sees Arnold and his whole school class go on a trip to South America, where he attempts to uncover the mystery behind his parents' disappearance. This movie did everything the 2002 film didn't. It was a meaningful story in its development in the context of the whole series, which made it a nice conclusion in terms of putting a bow on your notable loose ends. It always blew me away how violent the film was. bad guys getting crushed by boulders, arrows to the head, falling to your death. This movie was not f***ing around.
Hey Arnold, the Jungle Movie, the
Nickelodeon! Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius is the other special case in this ranking. The movie actually came out in 2001 and then led to the TV series a couple years later. But most, including me, think of it as a Nickelodeon theatrical TV movie. I did watch it originally in theaters when it came out. It sees boy genius Jimmy Neutron leading a group of kids to rescue their parents after they've been abducted and taken to an alien planet. Visually, the movie hasn't aged very well. Even by 2001 standards, it's pretty rough around the edges in its rendering and character movements. It makes the animation in the first Toy Story look like the Super Mario Bros. Movie by comparison. Where it does work is that it is pretty clever and fun with its humor and voice acting, which is great all around. The personality of the side characters and writing makes for a good amount of laughs. But while the movie's story is kind of kids level in terms of complexity, it works enough in terms of its solid big scale and high stakes adventure. I've always thought it's beyond lazy not to even try to explain the whole breathing in space thing. It's a movie about a f***ing super genius. It wouldn't have been that hard to explain.
I may be small, but I've got a big brain!
You know, for a nerd, he sure comes in handy.
Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius.
Believe it or not, this movie was nominated for Best Animated Film at the Oscars the first year of that award alongside Shrek and Monsters, Inc. I remember as a kid actually preferring it to those other two movies. Thankfully, I've gotten a little bit smarter since then.
For about a day or two.
Nickelodeon!
I never thought I'd see it with my own eye.
Tickets to the SpongeBob movie!
The first theatrical SpongeBob film came out in 2004, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie as it's known. All the other theatrical SpongeBob films came after the year that was my cutoff point for this project. It sees SpongeBob and Patrick on a quest to recover Neptune's stolen crown in order to save Mr. Krabs' life. All part of Plankton's evil Plan Z to be specific.
It's evil. It's diabolical. It's lemon-scented.
Where the film works better than the other SpongeBob films is its more traditional storytelling and sense of focus. It's a straightforward quest story with a great dose of zany SpongeBob fun, whether it's the music or David Hasselhoff. But it's actually pretty epic in its scale and plot progression. Plankton was easily his best as a villain in this movie. Just his scheme and hostile takeover were really well done.
All hail Plankton! All hail Plankton!
And I've always just loved that Goofy Goober rock climax sequence. It blew me away as a kid. So weird, but so fitting and perfect for SpongeBob, and nicely topped off what is still pretty easily the best SpongeBob movie. I did watch the other theatrical SpongeBob films that followed just for fun. The only one I gained a new appreciation for was 2015's Sponge Out of Water. Maybe there was just something about it in the context of a Nickelodeon Films marathon that made it more fun. It's just kind of hard to describe. 2020 Sponge on the Run is visually amazing with its art style and had a nice starting plot that reminded me of the first SpongeBob film, but it just had a lot of bad creative choices here and there. I didn't get the chance to watch the latest film, Search for SquarePants, again, and to be honest, I didn't want to.
What are we laughing about?
Nickelodeon! When you think of movie crossovers in the year 2003, my twisted mind automatically goes to Freddy vs. Jason, but that year Nickelodeon would also get in on the crossover action with the film Rugrats Go Wild, the third Rugrats movie and the second Wild Thornberrys movie. It sees the Rugrats and their families get stranded on a wildlife island where they encounter the Wild Thornberrys. The fun of the movie is that it finds the perfect pairings to make a crossover worthwhile. It starts off with Tommy's fascination with the Nigel Thornberry show, but then you get the Chucky and Donnie swap. Angelica and Debbie together is pretty iconic.
And Angelica.
I love this song!
Hey, me too!
Meet her match.
Woo! Should I stay or should I go?
but of course having Spike being able to talk through Eliza's powers. Spike was voiced by Bruce Willis, and I remember them marking the hell out of that when this movie was coming out.
Could you give a dog a little warning?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You know, it's funny. For a minute there, I thought I actually heard you talking to me. You talking to me? Are you talking to me?
I didn't know who Bruce Willis was at the time, but they definitely got the most out of his voice once Spike started talking, a little bit too much if you ask me. But it's a fun adventure movie, and the crossover element adds a next level of fun in what was the final theatrical outing for both franchises.
Rugrats Go Wild, featuring the voice of Bruce Willis as Spike.
I ate one of Chucky's diapers one time, and let me tell you, that is spicy.
Nickelodeon!
For whatever reason, I remembered the Wild Thornberrys movie coming out in 2004, but doing this marathon I learned, or remembered, that it was a 2002 release. It sees Eliza Thornberry on a journey to rescue a kidnapped cheetah cub from poachers. Right from the intro, you realize, wow, there's just something about the Wild Thornberrys that works as a movie. And the thing that's impressive, that the movie is just doing a lot of what the show did well, just with a larger scale story and a more cinematic look to it in its coloring and lighting. The core of what makes the movie special is Eliza. Just her determination and heart always has you rooting for her. That, and I've always thought Debbie was the real MVP of the series. That girl's attitude and personality is just so much fun.
I'm going to find Tally, and you're not going to stop me.
Oh, yes, I am. That is so wrong.
And props to this movie for doing a twist villain better than most Disney movies over the last decade. But the soundtrack is just banging in this movie. Those African beats are sick, but I remember back in the day them advertising the hell out of that father-daughter song. For good reason, because it is a beautiful song. That was during a time where after Disney's Tarzan, everyone was trying to do a Phil Collins-esque soundtrack, and that song in particular was a beautiful song for a beautiful movie.
You have a greater destiny than I've even known. The Wild Thornberrys movie.
Donnie, this is no time for the wedgie dance.
Nickelodeon!
Rugrats in Paris came out at the turn of the millennium, likely fast-tracked after the success of the first Rugrats movie. It sees Chucky feeling the loss of not having a mother, searching for one while the Rugrats are in Paris. The movie has a great emotional hook, with you feeling that sense of longing Chucky has for not having a mom when he sees his friends with their moms. That whole development made for a beautiful story and core narrative through the film. But the fun of the movie is the shenanigans in Paris. Watching Rugrats as a kid, you wanted to be those characters having those kind of adventures. And this movie takes that to the next level, seeing the adventures they have in Paris and the theme park Euro Reptarland. It does what children's movies do best when they're working right, which is make you want to be in that story. Well, minus all the gross out gags. Those twins are nasty as f***. It took watching the movie again to realize that in terms of best non-Disney animated villains, this movie has one in Coco LeBou, president of Euro Reptarland, looking to marry Chucky's dad in a somewhat convoluted way to advance her career. But no doubt as an adult, the thing that stands out most here is the climax section, with the babies in a giant Pacific Rim f***ing suit, plowing through Paris and getting into a Mecha Godzilla type fight. It's a really fun climax section, insanely fun to rewatch as a kid over and over again on my VHS. Still fun as an adult, but geez, this movie lives up to the tagline in the poster, Paris never had a chance. But with plenty of fun and heart, it's still a movie worth watching a quarter century later.
Rugrats in Paris, the movie.
Nickelodeon!
Rugrats the movie came out in 1998. I wouldn't know if I saw it in theaters as I was 3 years old at the time. But those babies' popularity was so peak in the 90s that they were awarded their own feature-length film. Through an elaborate roller coaster series of events, the Rugrats become lost in the woods where they attempt to make their way home. To make things more complicated, Tommy has just become a big brother to the newly born Dill. And as it turns out, being a big brother isn't so easy, even if you're a baby yourself. There's great substance to the brother storyline, quite a few moments where things get real emotionally, that kind of blew me away as in, whoa, this is some amazing writing for a Rugrats movie. But the sense of adventure is just awesome in this movie. Whether it's the wild roller coaster type sequence in the Reptar wagon that leaves them lost in the woods, the actual woodland adventures they uncover, whether it's on the river or the monkeys, and the music in terms of the soundtrack and the actual character singing sequences are great. I'm fairly certain this was the first movie I ever saw to use one way or another, and it's still an iconic sequence all these decades later. Like watching Rugrats in Paris, the older I get, I think of the real-world consequences of losing 5 kids in the forest. But that doesn't mean this isn't one fun movie, and would get my vote for being the best Nickelodeon theatrical TV series film.
The Rugrats movie.
Come on, Chucky!
Nap time is over.
And there you have it with the ranking of all Nickelodeon theatrical TV show films. It was one of my favorite all-time marathons I've done. It helped that some of these movies I basically hadn't seen since they came out, so there was a nice sense of discovery and reminiscing about the good old time in my life where things were a lot more childish and a lot less expensive. So that'll do it for this Nickelodeon ranking video. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching.